Hey everybody, it's me, Mr. Russell again. We are back for part two of Google My Maps and uploading some additional content. Last time we looked at how to actually upload a Google My Map, create one in your Google Drive account. We also changed the name of your account. We've added layers. So we started off with Mesopotamia. We added another layer, Egypt, and then the objective for today would be adding the content. What pins, locations do we actually want to have inside of the My Map? So to take you through this, like I said in the last video, what I did was created the pins for you, and I did a lot of the legwork in the beginning to get us to the point of where we need to be. But what we're going to do in the future is we're going to have you actually create some of the pins locations yourself, and then I'll show you how to upload some pictures, some videos. You can even put some guided notes on there. So it's like a really workable document that you'll be able to look back and learn a little bit about the places that you've been and explored. So it's a really neat feature for us to have. So let's kind of get started here with this. What we're going to do is we're going to go over to our left-hand side here. First thing what we need to do is, actually before anything, is make sure we have our Google My Map open. Make sure you're in the right document here. And you'll notice on the left-hand side, we have Mesopotamia, we have Egypt, and there is a blue import button. Okay, now what I've gone ahead and done was I have uploaded in Schoology for you a document, a KML file that you'll need in order to get the locations of what we're going to do. Okay, so these import buttons are going to be very important. Now, before we can go ahead and import anything, what we need to do first is we actually need to save the KML files that I shared with you on Schoology. We're going to need to save that onto your computer. So here's my suggestion for you. First thing I want you to do is if you go ahead and minimize this screen, all right, on your desktop, what I want you to do is right click because we just want to make things a little bit easier for you to find. So as you go ahead and right click, you're going to have some options. You are then going to go down to new, and I want you to select a folder. And you could title this folder Social Studies. All right, so now you have a social studies folder on your desktop. It'll make things a little bit easier for you to find, and you won't be cluttered with icons like I have on my laptop. All right, now let's go back here a second. What I'm going to have you do next is go over to my Schoology page, and I want you to log into my account. I want you to go into my classroom just like usual. And what we're going to do is we're going to have you go into Mesopotamia and Egypt. We're going to conquer two of these today. First one, Mesopotamia. What I'm going to have you do is click on the Mesopotamia folder. And inside of that folder, you will notice that at the very top, there is something called mesopotamia.kml. This is what you're going to need in order to upload into your Google My Map. Now, if you go ahead and left click on that document, it is going to prompt you to this next menu. Go ahead and click it again. And then from here, it's going to ask you to save the actual file itself. And now this is where that file or that folder we created earlier is going to be important. When you look for that folder, you're going to go on to your left-hand side here. You're going to click on your desktop. And then inside of your desktop, you're going to see certain folders because we have folders selected. And I'm going to look for the social studies folder. You're going to double click that and open it up. And there's no reason, no reason to rename anything. Leave it as is. Go ahead and hit the save button. And now it is uploading that document for you down the bottom. So now you have the first KML file downloaded. Now let's go back to our Google My Map a minute. So click on that tab. And this time is where we want to now import because we haven't officially saved. So if I go ahead and click import, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a file from my computer. I'm going to click on this big blue icon in the middle. And now I need to find it. So if I make sure my desktop is highlighted, I'm going to look for that social studies folder, which is right here. I'm going to double click on it. And then I'm going to head and click on the Mesopotamia KML file and go ahead and hit open. Give it a second, it's going to process. You'll notice that I may get a little error message here. Don't worry, sometimes your screen may go white, then it may just go off. If you do get this little message here, just go ahead and click OK. And then what's going to happen is notice how it changed, and then voila. Here we have on our map, we have a couple pins, couple locations, might look familiar to some of you. and we also have these down the bottom here. What you may notice is Mesopotamia used to be up top. Now it's down below. No problem. All you have to do is put your cursor over top of Mesopotamia, left click and hold it, and you can drag it up, and then you will notice it can make the switch for you. So if it happens to get shifted around, you can move any of these locations. Just put your cursor on it, left click, hold it, and you can go ahead and move it. Let me show you just a few items that are going to be important that you can see what we're going to do. If I go ahead and put my cursor over Babylon, you will notice that on my mind map, that pin for Babylon is now highlighted. I go ahead and left click on it over here on the left hand side. Guess what? I've embedded in here a YouTube video. I did a lesson on Hammurabi. You have that. If you go ahead and scroll down, you'll notice that I've given you some information about the government, the religion, the culture, being polytheistic. I've also displayed in here the source. Okay, so what you see on the left hand side here, these are the elements that we're going to have you actually upload and keep track of. Now, some topics may not be as relevant as others. We may be putting more information in certain areas, and that is perfectly fine. The reason and why we're having you do this is for a few things. Number one, we want you to create as almost like an outline, but you're able to put your notes on this outline actually on a map that you can embed images, you can embed video clips. So it makes a really neat tool for you to be able to see the places that you've been, and you can just put some of the key pieces of information in there. If you just want to get off of this one here, there is an X button here you can click on, or if you just click on the map itself, you can even click on the actual pins. If I go ahead and click Zoomer, you will notice that there is an image here, not a video this time, and I can scroll down below the image and I can click the right arrow and I can find some more iconic images of a ziggurat, or I'm actually looking at the city of Ur, and these are all iconic images for Sumer. And then down the bottom, again, I've already given you some descriptions. I've highlighted some important things, talked about certain phrases that Mesopotamia was known as, talked about the government, religion, and culture, and so forth. And then, of course, any source that we do find that is of importance, you want to go ahead and put that down the bottom. It just is another way for you to figure out some of the places that things that you found. You know where to go back and relook. Okay, so you can basically expect uh, the information basically to be on here for you. Now, what I said to you earlier is I'm actually going to give you some of the other topics as well. Now, there are going to be two topics in Egypt that I did not give you because I want you to practice uploading some information on your own. And in the third video, maybe one more, I'm going to show you actually how to create the charts that you see here. So when you see Babylon, I'll show you how to put a video. I'll show you how to put pictures. We'll even show you how to do some of these descriptions and how to edit this information so that you'll have everything that you essentially need. Okay. Now let's go ahead and let's get our Egypt imported as well. Now, what we need to do again before that is we're going to go back to Schoology once again. And instead of Mesopotamia, I'm going to have you go back, click on my course. And now we are going to go to Egypt. And you will notice in the Egypt folder at the very top, there is a similar KML file like Mesopotamia. Go ahead and click on that Egypt KML file. And we're going to go ahead and click on it one more time. And when you do that, it is going to prompt you to save it. A lot of times when you're saving things for the second time, it's going to go ahead and put it exactly where you may need it. PC, desktop, social studies folder, KML files here. Perfect. I got Egypt. Don't need to rename it. Everything is good. Go ahead and click save. And now you will notice that the KML file is being saved as well. Let's go back to the Google My Map. And now we're going to import the pins located for Egypt. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the import button. Select a file from my computer. And it's going to prompt me right to the Egypt KML file. And we're going to go ahead and hit open. Now again, you get the same error message. Don't worry about it. Sometimes the screen might go white, might flash for a quick second. Just go ahead and hit OK. And now we have even more pins this time. So the map, as you can see, is slowly starting to get filled in. And we're going to continue on. We're going to do parts of Rome and Greece and Carthage. So by the time you're done here in seventh grade, we'll have quite a few places already filled in. If you click on Giza, you'll see that we have pictures here of the pyramids, the Sphinx, inside Khufu and Khafre's pyramid. There is a description. We have some more sources in here for you that you can look at, items about the government. So again, it does a nice job of giving you some highlighted features. But let me click on one, for example, Abu Simbel. That one was filled in. Ashwan. Okay, this one is not filled in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to edit and fill some of these in, and then have you just kind of fill in about two of your own, just so that you get the idea and the practice. All right. So at this point, we've done a good job. We've gone through two videos. You've created your Google My Map. You've named it. You added layers to it. So you should be able to add layers for Greece and Rome and Carthage as we continue on. You can always go back and reference these videos at a later date. And all the KML files for the pins that you'll need, you know now how to upload those. Just go to Schoology, find them, download them, and you can upload them as well. We even showed you how to move these styles around. You can even change your base map. You can actually change the outlook of it, change what it looks like. Cool part is, doesn't do anything different with your pins. Nothing changes at all. So it's a pretty neat tool to have. All right, that takes care of everything for part two. And part three, we'll look at editing and adding a little bit more content to our pins. All right, guys, thanks again, and I will talk to you again shortly.